Bride discovers groom's secret, minutes before wedding, but her revenge is spectacular. Jennifer Davis was ready to live the most important day of her life when she received a message that would change everything forever. Her hands trembled as she held her phone and saw photos she never imagined existed. It was him, her fiancé Michael, passionately kissing a woman she knew all too well. The person standing beside her at that moment, smiling and adjusting her veil, was the exact same woman in the photos. Her cousin Amanda, who had grown up with her, shared childhood secrets, and was now there as her maid of honor. "Jen, are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost," said Amanda, noticing the sudden paleness on the bride's face. Jennifer looked at her cousin and forced a smile. Her heart was pounding so hard she was sure everyone in the room could hear it. The flawless makeup couldn't hide the despair in her brown eyes. "I'm just nervous," she replied, tucking the phone into her small bridal clutch. The message had come from an unknown number, with no explanation. Just the photos and a simple phrase: "You deserve to know the truth." The images were too clear to be fake. Michael was wearing the same shirt she had picked for him to wear at his bachelor party 3 days earlier. Amanda stepped closer to fix a stray strand of Jennifer's hair that had escaped the elaborate updo. It was the same tender gesture she'd done since they were little, playing wedding in their grandmother's backyard. Now, that touch felt like a stab in the back. "Your mum's asking if you're ready," Amanda continued. "The guests are all at the church. The priest said he can start whenever you're ready." Jennifer took a deep breath. 200 people were waiting for her at St. Patrick's Church in downtown Rochester. The entire city's elite was there. Michael had insisted on inviting his business partners, important clients, and even some local officials. He always loved showing off. "Amanda," Jennifer called, watching her cousin's reaction carefully. "How was Michael's bachelor party?" The question seemed to catch Amanda off guard. She looked away for a split second before answering. "Oh, it was normal. The guys had fun, drank beer, told stories. You know how they are. Why do you ask?" "Just curious. Where did they go again?" "The club. They stayed by the pool late." Jennifer nodded, but she knew Amanda was lying. The photos clearly showed an indoor setting with furniture she recognized. It was the apartment Michael kept downtown, the one he supposedly only used for out-of-town clients. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out as we're just starting. Now, back to the story. The bedroom door opened, and Susan, Jennifer's mother, walked in beaming. At 58, she was living the dream of seeing her only daughter marry in the same church where she herself had walked down the aisle 30 years earlier. "My princess looks beautiful," Susan exclaimed, her eyes misty. "Your father can't stop crying downstairs. He says he can't bear to give you away to another man." Jennifer looked in the mirror at her reflection in the French lace dress that had cost a fortune. The hand-embroidered fabric accentuated her elegant figure, and the 3-meter veil created an almost angelic effect. She had dreamed of this moment since she was 15. "Mom, do you trust Michael?" she asked suddenly. Susan seemed surprised by the question. "Of course, sweetheart. Why would you ask that now? He's a hard-working, successful man from a good family. What more could a mother want for her daughter?" "What if you found out something terrible about him, something that changed everything?" "Jennifer, are you getting cold feet? It's normal, honey. Every bride gets nervous on her wedding day, but Michael loves you. Anyone can see that." Amanda coughed lightly, as if wanting to change the subject. "Jen, I think it's best not to dwell on negative things today. It's your special day." Jennifer watched her cousin through the mirror. Amanda looked beautiful in the burgundy dress they had chosen together. The modest neckline and elegant cut accentuated her curves. She had always been considered the prettiest cousin in the family, the one who turned heads wherever she went. They had grown up together because their mothers were inseparable sisters. Amanda lived just 2 streets away and spent more time at Jennifer's house than her own. They shared toys, clothes, secrets, and dreams. Jennifer had been the godmother when Amanda graduated in business, and Amanda had stood by her when Jennifer lost her job 2 years ago. "When did you two meet again?" Jennifer asked, still looking through the mirror. "Who?" Amanda seemed confused. You and Michael. At your 29th birthday party, remember? You introduced us. Why these strange questions? Jennifer remembered that night perfectly. Amanda had arrived late to the party, complaining she couldn't decide what to wear. Michael had been enchanted by her from the moment they met, complimenting her dress and asking her to dance. At the time, Jennifer thought he was just being polite to her family. You danced with him a lot that night, Jennifer remarked. He's a good dancer. And you were busy with the other guests, remember? We barely had time to talk properly. Jennifer's memory was different. She recalled watching them dance to several songs in a row, chatting animatedly in the garden and laughing at jokes she couldn't hear. Back then, she had felt a slight unease, but Michael reassured her, saying he was just trying to get to know her family better. A phone rang. It was Amanda's. She glanced at the screen and declined the call. Who was it? Jennifer asked. Wrong number, Amanda replied quickly. Jen, I think it's time. We don't want to be even later. Susan checked the gold watch on her wrist. You're right. The guests must be wondering what's happened. Jennifer, are you sure you're okay? Jennifer nodded, but her mind was racing. She decided to test the waters. Mum, could you ask the driver to bring my purse from the car? I forgot my backup lipstick there. Of course, dear. Susan left the room, leaving the two cousins alone. Jennifer turned to face Amanda directly. Amanda, I need to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with me. Of course, anything. Do you have something going on with Michael? The silence that followed was deafening. Amanda blinked several times, as if she hadn't understood the question. What do you mean, something? You know exactly what I'm asking. Jennifer, have you lost your mind? He's your fiancé. We're getting married in a little while. How could you even think that? The denial came too fast, too defensive. Jennifer had known her cousin for 25 years and could tell when she was lying. Amanda always played with her hair when she wasn't telling the truth, just like she was doing now. So you have no problem walking with me to the church and standing by my side the whole ceremony? Jennifer pressed. Of course not. I'm your maid of honor. I'll obviously be by your side. Jennifer picked up her phone and showed Amanda one of the photos. Her cousin's face drained of color. Can you explain this? Amanda stared at the image of herself passionately kissing Michael. Her hands began to tremble. Where did you get this? She whispered. That doesn't matter. What matters is whether it's true. Jennifer, I can explain. Then explain. Amanda collapsed into the armchair by the window, burying her face in her hands. When she looked up, her eyes were filled with tears. It was a mistake, a moment of weakness. He was drinking, so was I. One thing led to another. It didn't mean anything. When? At the bachelor party. Jennifer felt a sharp pang in her chest. It wasn't just betrayal, it was lie after lie. And you were just going to keep quiet forever. It wasn't going to happen again, Jen, I swear. It was just that one time. He loves you. I know he loves you. Do you love him? The question caught Amanda off guard. She opened her mouth to answer, but no sound came out. Answer me, Amanda. Do you love my fiancé? I don't know. Maybe. But it doesn't matter because he chose you. Jennifer stood up, walking to the window overlooking the church garden. She could see the cars arriving, the guests entering, the photographers taking their places. Everyone waiting for her. Jennifer, please don't ruin everything over one mistake. Think about your family, the guests, all the money that's been spent. Think about Michael, he's nervous out there waiting for you. You think I should marry a man who cheated on me with my cousin 3 days before the wedding? It was just a kiss, Jen. Men do these things when they're nervous. It doesn't mean he doesn't love you. Jennifer turned to face Amanda. There was something in her cousin's eyes she'd never seen before. Not just guilt. It was desire, possessiveness. How long has this been going on? We're not seeing each other. It was just that one time, I swear. Don't lie to me, Amanda. I know you better than anyone. Amanda stood, walking toward Jennifer. Fine. It happened a few times, but it's over. He told me he chose you, that he's going to marry you and forget what happened between us. And you accepted that? I didn't have a choice. You have a choice now. What do you mean? Jennifer glanced at the clock. 15 minutes late. The priest must have been wondering what happened. I'm going downstairs now to marry Michael. You'll stand by my side, smiling for the photos, pretending to be my beloved cousin, and during the ceremony, I'll tell everyone exactly what I found out. Jennifer, you can't do that. I can and I will, unless you have a better offer. Amanda took a deep breath, thinking fast. What if I tell him everything? What if I say you found out, and he has to choose right now, in front of everyone? You'd do that. If you promise not to humiliate our family publicly. Jennifer considered the offer. It would be interesting to see Michael's reaction when he realized she knew everything. Fine. But I want to be there when you tell him. How? We'll go down together. You'll walk up to him and tell him everything. I'll watch his reaction. Then he can decide what he wants to do. What if he chooses you? Then I'll decide if I still want to marry him. What if he chooses me? Then you two can be together, and I'll walk out of that church with my head held high. Amanda hesitated. It wasn't the plan she'd imagined, but maybe it was her only chance. All right, let's do it. Just then, Susan returned with the purse. Here you go, dear. Our driver said he saw Michael up front and that he looks very nervous. Maybe we shouldn't wait any longer. Let's go, Mom. I'm ready. Jennifer took the small bouquet of white roses and orchids that Amanda had been clutching during their conversation. The flowers were slightly wilted from her cousin's nervous grip. Amanda will go ahead to make sure everything's in order, Jennifer said. Of course. See you inside, cuz. Amanda left the room, leaving Jennifer alone with her mother for a moment. Mom, do you love me no matter what? Jennifer, what kind of question is that? Of course I love you. You're my whole life. Even if I make a decision no one understands. Sweetheart, you're worrying me. What's going on? Nothing, Mom. I just wanted to be sure. Jennifer kissed her mother's forehead and left the room. Her footsteps echoed through the sacristy hallway as she walked toward the altar where Michael was waiting. The church was packed. White flowers and elegant arrangements decorated every pew. The candles created a romantic atmosphere, and the organs softly played the music she had chosen for the bridesmaid's entrance. Jennifer stopped at the side door and peered through the glass. Michael looked handsome in the black tuxedo she had helped him pick. His hair was perfectly styled, and he was whispering with Brian, his best man and longtime friend from college. Amanda walked down the center aisle toward the altar. Her steps were steady, but Jennifer could see the tension in her shoulders. The guests smiled and greeted her, unaware of the drama about to unfold. When Amanda reached Michael, Jennifer watched them talk. She couldn't hear their words, but their body language spoke volumes. Michael straightened up, Amanda gestured subtly, and Brian looked confused by the conversation. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps those of us just starting out. Now back to the story. Suddenly, Michael looked straight at the door where Jennifer stood. Even through the glass, she could see the panic in his eyes. He knew. Amanda had told him. Michael said something to Brian, who immediately glanced toward Jennifer. The best man looked stunned. Then Michael started walking toward the church's side door. Jennifer stepped back from the glass. In seconds, Michael would be there, trying to explain the unexplainable. She took a deep breath and braced herself for the confrontation that would define the rest of her life. The door opened, and Michael appeared. His face was flushed, and beads of sweat dotted his forehead despite the air conditioning. Jen, we need to talk. Now you want to talk? Amanda told me you found out. I can explain everything. Can you? Then explain how you kissed my cousin 3 days before our wedding, and then stood here at the altar, ready to make vows of fidelity to me. Michael glanced around, checking if anyone else could hear them. It was a mistake, Jen, the biggest mistake of my life. I was nervous, scared about the wedding, drinking too much. One thing led to another. And how many other times did one thing lead to another? Never, just that once, I swear. Jennifer studied him closely. Michael had always been a smooth liar, especially in business. It was one of the qualities that made him a successful salesman. But now she knew his tells. Michael, you have 10 seconds to tell me the full truth, or I walk into that church and tell everyone what I found out. Okay, it happened a few times. But it's over, Jen. The moment I proposed to you, it ended between us. When did it start? On your birthday. We danced, talked. She gave me her number. It started as a friendship. A friendship that included kissing. Not at first. Things just progressed. Jennifer felt the ground drop beneath her. Her birthday had been 8 months ago. They'd started dating seriously 6 months later. That meant Michael had been involved with Amanda the entire time she thought they were building a solid relationship. You proposed to me while you were still with her. Jen, please, try to understand. I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. But when I proposed, it was because I realized you're the one I truly love. And her, what did you tell her when you proposed to me? Michael hesitated before answering. She said we needed to stop, that I had made my choice. And she agreed? Not at first. She got angry, said she was in love with me, but then she understood. Understood what? That you're my fiancé, that I chose you. Jennifer felt nauseous. The betrayal was even worse than she'd imagined. It hadn't just been a moment of weakness. It had been an ongoing affair for months. And after the proposal, did you really stop? Michael looked away. There were a few slip-ups, but nothing serious. Just occasional meet-ups. Slip-ups. What an interesting word for betrayal. Jen, I know it sounds terrible, but I love you. I wouldn't be here now, ready to marry you if I didn't. Do you love her too? The question caught Michael off guard. He opened and closed his mouth several times before answering. It's different. With her, it's physical. Chemistry. With you, it's real love. It's a future. It's building something. Jennifer almost laughed at the explanation. Michael spoke as if love and physical attraction were completely separate things. And you think I should be content with real love while you satisfy your chemistry with my cousin? No. Now that you know everything's changed, I promise I'll never seek her out again. I'll never betray you again. Just marry me and let's start our life together. Like nothing happened. Exactly. We can get past this, Jen. Many couples overcome betrayals and come out stronger. Jennifer studied Michael carefully. He truly believed she could forgive and forget an 8-month affair with her own cousin. His arrogance was astounding. What about Amanda? What happens to her? She'll move on. Eventually she'll meet someone and get married too. You think she'll forget you that easily? She'll have to. And if she doesn't? What if she tries to seduce you after we're married? That won't happen. How can you be sure? Michael took a deep breath as if the question were foolish. Because I'll be married to you, and she knows I chose you. Jennifer realized Michael had no grasp of the gravity of the situation. He thought he could convince her with a few pretty words and move on as if nothing had happened. Michael, have you even considered what this means for my family, for my relationship with my cousin? You'll work it out. Women always do. The simplicity of his answer left Jennifer furious. Michael really thought 8 months of betrayal could be fixed with, "You'll work it out." And our honeymoon? How am I supposed to be intimate with you, knowing you were with her just 3 days ago? Jen, that's in the past. When we're alone in Hawaii, you'll forget all about it. Are you sure? Yes, because you love me, and I love you too. Jennifer looked at the man she'd promised to love until death parted them. The same man who'd betrayed her their entire engagement. The same man who thought a few words could undo 8 months of lies. Michael, do you really want to marry me? Of course I do. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. Even knowing I found out everything? That's exactly why. Now there are no more secrets between us. We can start fresh. And you'll never seek out Amanda again. Never. Not even if she comes to you? I'll tell her I'm a married man and she needs to respect that. Jennifer nodded slowly. Michael seemed genuinely convinced this could work. "All right, Michael, we'll get married." Relief washed over his face. He smiled and leaned in to kiss her. "I knew you loved me too much to give up on us. But I have one condition. Anything, love, anything. I want you to tell all the guests what happened. I want you to publicly admit that you cheated on me and apologize." Michael's smile vanished instantly. "Jen, you can't be serious." "I'm completely serious. If you want to start fresh with no secrets, then let's begin with the truth. But this will humiliate our family. It will humiliate you too. I'd rather the humiliation of the truth than the humiliation of a marriage built on lies." "And if I refuse?" "Then I walk into the church, tell everyone, and call off the wedding." Michael ran his hand through his hair, ruining his perfectly styled look. "Jen, be reasonable. There are 200 people in there. The priest, important figures, my clients. This could ruin my career." "Is your career more important than our marriage?" "That's not what I mean, but there are more discreet ways to handle this." "I don't want discretion. I want everyone to know what kind of man I'm agreeing to marry." "You're insane, Jen. Completely insane." "Maybe, but those are my terms. Take it or leave it." Michael paced back and forth in the small sacristy. Jennifer could see the desperation growing in his eyes. "And if I do this, do you promise you'll forgive me and we'll be happy?" "I promise nothing, but at least we'll start with honesty." "This is blackmail, Jen. This is consequences. You cheated, now deal with them." At that moment, the door opened and Amanda appeared. Her face was pale and her hands trembled visibly. "Sorry to interrupt, but the priest is asking if there's going to be a ceremony or not. The guests are getting impatient." Michael and Jennifer locked eyes. The decision had to be made now. "Amanda," Jennifer said, "Michael was just explaining that the two of you had an affair for 8 months. Jennifer, please. And now he needs to decide whether to marry me by publicly admitting he betrayed me or to call off the wedding." Amanda looked at Michael pleadingly. "Mike, you can't do this. You can't expose us like this." "Expose us?" Jennifer repeated. "You're more worried about your reputation than the fact you betrayed your own cousin?" "That's not it, Jen. It's just, this will destroy our whole family. Your mother, your aunt, all our cousins. They'll never look at us the same way again. You should have thought of that before." Michael took a deep breath and turned to Jennifer. "Fine, I'll do it. I'll tell everyone what happened." Amanda was stunned. "Michael, you can't be serious." "She gave me this choice or cancelling everything. I can't cancel. I've already spent too much money on this wedding." The coldness of his response hit Jennifer and Amanda equally. Michael was thinking about money, not love. "Then let's go," Jennifer said. "I'll walk in first. You follow and tell the priest you have something important to announce before the vows." "What about me?" Amanda asked. "You stay right here. As my maid of honor, you'll stand by my side when your affair with my fiancé is exposed." "Jennifer, I'm begging you." "Too late, Amanda. The decision's made." Jennifer opened the door and walked toward the altar. She could feel every guest's eyes turning to her. Susan smiled tearfully in the front row. Brian, the best man, looked confused at the altar. The organ began playing the wedding march. Jennifer walked slowly down the burgundy aisle, gripping her bouquet tightly. With every step, her resolve grew stronger. When she reached the altar, she stood beside Michael, who had arrived just seconds before. Amanda stood beside her, pale as a ghost. Father John Williams, a 65-year-old man who had known the family for decades, smiled at the couple. "Dear brothers and sisters," the priest began, "we are gathered here today to celebrate the sacred union between Michael and Jennifer." "Father," Michael interrupted, his voice trembling, "before we begin, I need to make an important announcement." A murmur spread through the church. The guests exchanged glances, confused by the interruption. "Michael," the priest whispered, "can this wait until after the ceremony?" "No, Father. It has to be now." Michael turned to face the guests. Jennifer could see sweat dripping down his forehead. I need to tell you all something important before I marry Jen." The church fell completely silent. 200 people waited to hear what the groom had to say. "I made a mistake," a very serious one. Susan rose from her seat, concerned. "Michael, what's going on?" "Mrs. Susan, I cheated on Jennifer." The impact of the confession was immediate. Gasps of shock echoed through the church. Susan clutched her chest as if she'd been punched. "With who?" someone shouted from the back. Michael looked at Amanda, who was visibly shaking. With Amanda. With her cousin. What had been shock turned into chaos. Several people stood up, voices rose, and Jennifer's aunt, Amanda's mother, began sobbing uncontrollably. "For how long?" Jennifer's father asked, his face red with anger. 8 months, Michael replied, his voice barely audible. 8 months, Susan cried. "You've only been engaged for 6. The priest tried to calm the situation. "Please, let's all remain calm. Perhaps it would be better." "No, Father," Jennifer interrupted. "I want everyone to know the full truth." She turned to face the guests. "I found out an hour ago. I received photos of them kissing at the bachelor party. And now you all know why I wanted this said publicly." "Jennifer," called Aunt Betty, Amanda's mother. "This can't be true. Amanda would never do this to you." "Ask her." All eyes turned to Amanda, who stood frozen beside Jennifer. "Amanda!" Betty shouted. "Answer me. Is this true?" Amanda finally looked up. Tears streamed down her face, ruining her carefully applied makeup. "It's true," she whispered. Betty's scream echoed through the church. She collapsed onto the pew held by her husband. Other relatives began to react, some defending Jennifer, others trying to understand how things had gone this far. "Michael," the priest said, "are you making this confession to ask for forgiveness and marry Jennifer?" "Yes, Father, I was wrong, but I love Jennifer. I want to marry her and start a new life." "Jennifer," the priest turned to her, "do you still wish to marry Michael, knowing all this?" Jennifer looked at Michael, then at Amanda, then at the church full of shocked faces. "Father, I need a few more minutes to decide. May I?" "Of course, my child." Jennifer stepped down from the altar and walked to the front pew where her parents sat. Susan wept silently, while her father, Richard, seemed in shock. "Dad, what do you think I should do?" Richard looked at his daughter sadly. "Sweetheart, this is a decision only you can make, but I want you to know that whatever you choose, we'll support you." "Mum?" Susan wiped her tears and took Jennifer's hands. "Honey, no woman deserves this, but I also know how much you loved Michael. If you think you can forgive him and move forward, we'll stand by you. If you can't, we'll stand by you too." Jennifer glanced around the church. Guests whispered in small groups, some clearly outraged, others curious about her decision. "Michael," she called from the altar, "come here." Michael stepped down and approached her. "Jen, I know this is hard, but I love you. I made a terrible mistake, but I love you." "Michael, answer me one thing. If I hadn't found out, would you have ever told me?" I don't know. Maybe not. Because it's over. It would have stayed in the past. And you think that's fair? Me marrying you without knowing I spent 8 months sharing you with someone else. Jen, that doesn't matter anymore. What matters is our future. It matters to me. It matters a lot. Jennifer turned to face Amanda. "Amanda, come here." Amanda reluctantly stepped down from the altar. "Amanda, do you love Michael?" "Jen, please don't make me answer that." "Answer. Do you love him?" "Yes," Amanda whispered. "I do." "And you, Michael? Do you love her?" Michael hesitated. "Not the same way I love you." "But you feel something for her." "I do, but with you it's different, more mature." Jennifer nodded slowly. It was clear neither of them would forget the other easily. "Michael, I have a different proposal." "What?" "You choose, right now, in front of everyone. Either it's me and you promise never to speak to Amanda again, or it's her and I walk out of here with my head held high. Jen, I already chose you. I chose you when I asked you to marry me. But you kept seeing her after that, so choose again, only this time it's for real." Michael looked at Amanda, then at Jennifer. "I choose you, Jen. I choose you." "Amanda," Jennifer turned to her cousin. "Do you accept this? Do you accept that he chose me? Amanda wiped the tears from her face. If that's what he wants, I accept. Then it's settled, said Jennifer. She turned to the priest. Father, we're getting married. A murmur of approval mixed with surprise spread through the church. Michael smiled in relief. But, Jennifer continued, I have some conditions. Michael's smile faded. What conditions? First, you sign a document saying that if you cheat on me again, I get everything. House, car, business, everything. Jen. Second condition, Amanda is no longer part of our lives. No family gatherings, no casual run-ins, nothing. But she's your cousin. She stopped being my cousin the moment she decided to sleep with my fiancé. Third condition, our honeymoon is cancelled. We're staying here in the United States and you'll win me back all over again, like we're starting from scratch. Michael thought about the conditions. They weren't negotiable, and he knew it. I accept all the conditions. Amanda, Jennifer turned to her cousin one last time. Do you have anything to say before you leave my life forever? Amanda took a deep breath. Just that I'm sorry. Really sorry. I never meant for things to go this far. But they did. And now you'll have to live with the consequences. Amanda nodded and started to walk away. But Jennifer called her back. Amanda, wait. What? I want you to leave the church now. I don't want you at our ceremony. Jennifer, go, Amanda, and don't show your face to me again. Amanda took one last look at Michael, then at Jennifer, and walked out of the church with her head down. Betty, her mother, stood up and followed her, along with a few other relatives. Now, Jennifer said to the priest, we can begin the ceremony. The priest, still stunned by everything he'd witnessed, tried to regain his composure. Well, dear brothers and sisters, let us proceed with the celebration of the sacrament of marriage. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps those of us just starting out. Now, continuing. The ceremony went on in a tense atmosphere. The wedding vows took on a different weight after everything that had been revealed. When Michael promised fidelity, some guests coughed uncomfortably. When Jennifer promised to love in joy and sorrow, her voice sounded more determined than romantic. At the moment of, do you accept Michael as your husband? Jennifer paused for what felt like an eternity. I do, she finally said. When the priest declared them husband and wife, the kiss was more restrained than planned. The applause was polite, but not enthusiastic. The wedding reception was a surreal experience. The band tried to keep the festive mood, but conversations inevitably revolved around the drama that had unfolded in the church. Half the guests had left right after the ceremony. Jennifer danced the waltz with Michael, but it was impossible to ignore the curious stares and whispers around the dance floor. Jen, Michael whispered during the dance, do you think we did the right thing? I don't know, but at least we didn't start our married life with lies. People will forget about this in time, maybe, or maybe not. When the reception ended, Jennifer and Michael went to the apartment he kept in the city center. The house they had bought together needed some renovations and wasn't ready for them yet. The silence in the apartment was heavy. Jennifer still wore her wedding dress but felt like she was in costume for a play that had ended. Jen, Michael said, I know today was hard for you, for both of us, but I want you to know that I love you and I'll do everything to earn back your trust. Michael, I'm tired, so tired. I think I'll take a bath and go to sleep. Can I sleep with you? Or would you rather I stay on the couch? Jennifer thought for a moment. You can sleep in the bed, but don't touch me, not yet. How long do you think you'll need? I don't know, it could be a week, it could be a year. Don't push me. That night, Jennifer lay awake staring at the ceiling. Michael slept beside her, breathing heavily. She tried to process everything that had happened. In a single afternoon, her life had completely changed. In the weeks that followed, the story spread through town. Jennifer couldn't go to the grocery store without receiving looks of pity or curiosity. Some people praised her for her courage. Others commented that she'd been naive to go through with the marriage knowing about the betrayal. Michael tried to be the perfect husband. He came home with flowers, took Jennifer out to expensive restaurants, and was always available when she needed something. But there was a constant tension between them. A month after the wedding, Jennifer was organizing photos from the reception when she found one that made her stop. It was a group photo where she stood with Michael, and in the background Amanda was leaving the church. The expression on her cousin's face was pure pain. For a moment, Jennifer felt sorry for Amanda. They had grown up together, shared secrets, dreams, fears. The betrayal had destroyed not only her relationship with Michael, but also a lifelong friendship. "What are you thinking about?" Michael asked, coming up behind her. "About Amanda." Michael tensed immediately. "Jen, you promised we wouldn't talk about her." "I never promised that. You're confusing things. I said she couldn't be part of our lives anymore. I didn't say I couldn't think about her." "But why dwell on it? It'll only hurt you." "Maybe, but she was important to me for a long time. And she threw that away when she chose to be with me." "That's true, but it doesn't erase 25 years of friendship." Michael sat beside Jennifer on the couch. "Jen, do you regret marrying me?" "I don't know. Sometimes yes, sometimes no." "What can I do to make you sure you made the right choice?" "Time, Michael. Only time will tell if our decision was the right one." 2 months after the wedding, Jennifer was working in her office when she got an unexpected call. It was Betty, Amanda's aunt and mother. "Jennifer, can you talk to me?" "Of course, Aunt Betty. What's wrong?" "It's about Amanda. She's not doing well." Jennifer felt a tightness in her chest. "What's going on with her?" "She's suffering so much, Jennifer. Since the wedding, she barely leaves the house. She lost her job, isn't eating right, won't talk to anyone." "Aunt Betty, I'm so sorry, but I know you're angry with her, and you have every right to be. But she's like a daughter to you too. You two grew up together. She was like a daughter, Aunt Betty. That changed. Jennifer, she asked me to call you. She really wants to talk to you, to apologize in person. And why should I agree to that? Because you're both hurting, and maybe talking will help you both move forward." Jennifer considered the offer. There were days she felt furious at Amanda, but also days she missed the friendship they'd shared. "Where does she want to meet?" "At your grandmother's house, in the garden where you used to play as kids." The place was symbolic. Eleanor's house had been the family gathering spot throughout Jennifer and Amanda's childhood. It was where they spent Sunday afternoons, playing in the garden full of fruit trees. "Fine, but there are conditions." "What?" "No drama, no over-the-top tears. And if at any point I want to leave, she can't try to stop me." "She'll agree." "Thank you so much, Jennifer." The following Saturday, Jennifer drove to Eleanor's house, now empty since the elderly woman had moved in with one of her daughters. The garden was still well kept thanks to a gardener the family hired. Amanda was already there when Jennifer arrived. She sat on the wooden bench where they used to gossip about boys as teenagers. The change in her appearance was shocking. Amanda had lost weight, had deep, dark circles under her eyes, and her hair lacked its usual shine. "Hi," Amanda said as Jennifer approached. "Hi." Jennifer sat on the bench, keeping a safe distance. "Thank you for coming." "I didn't come for you. I came for my aunt who's suffering because of you." "I know. And I know I have no right to ask anything of you." "You don't." Amanda took a deep breath before speaking. "Jennifer, I want you to know I didn't plan for things to happen this way." "How did you plan for them to happen?" "I didn't plan anything. It just happened." "Amanda, don't insult me. An 8-month relationship doesn't just happen. It's a choice you make every day." "You're right, there were so many wrong choices. So many." "Why did you do this to me?" The question came out with more pain than Jennifer had meant to show. "It wasn't against you, Jen. I fell in love with him. You had to fall in love with my boyfriend. When I fell for him, you two weren't even serious yet. But you knew I liked him." "I did. And I tried to pull away at first. But he sought me out, messaged me, said he was confused about his feelings." Jennifer felt anger rising in her chest. "And you believed him?" "I wanted to believe him, because I was in love." "And when he proposed to me, what did you feel?" Amanda took a long time to answer. "Anger, sadness, jealousy. And you still kept seeing him?" "He came to me a few times after the proposal. Said he was scared of marriage, that he needed to be sure of his feelings. And you believed him, again. I wanted to believe him again. Jennifer looked at Amanda's hands, which trembled slightly. Amanda, did you really think you had a chance with him? Sometimes, yes. He said things that gave me hope. What kind of things? That maybe he'd committed too soon. That he felt something different for me. That he was confused. And you never thought about talking to me? I did, many times, but I didn't know how. Jen, I'm in love with your fiancé. That's all you needed to say. And ruin your happiness? My happiness was already ruined, I just didn't know it. The two of them fell silent for a few minutes. The garden looked exactly as Jennifer remembered from her childhood. The mango tree they used to climb to pick fruit, the fence where they'd sit and talk about the future, the flower bed her grandmother tended with such care. Jen, Amanda finally said, do you still hate me? Jennifer thought about the question. I don't know if it's hate. It's something more complicated. It's betrayal, it's disappointment, it's loss. Loss? Losing my cousin, losing my friend, losing the person I trusted most in the world. I'm still the same person. No, Amanda, you're not. The Amanda I knew would never have done this to me. People change, Jen. They change for the better, not for worse. Amanda leaned back on the bench. Do you think you'll ever be able to forgive me? I don't know. Maybe with a lot of time. And our friendship? Our friendship ended the moment you kissed Michael for the first time. Can't it be rebuilt? Trust is like a crystal vase, Amanda. Once it's broken, you can glue the pieces, but it'll never be the same again. But at least it still works. Jennifer looked at her cousin. There was desperate hope in her eyes. Maybe, but not yet. How long do you think you'll need? Amanda, there's no timeline for these things. It could be a year, it could be 10 years, it could be never. What if I reach out to you in a while? Then it'll depend on where I am emotionally at that moment. Amanda nodded, as if it were the best answer she could hope for. Jen, can I ask you one more thing? Go ahead. Are you happy with him? The question caught Jennifer off guard. She didn't expect Amanda to be so direct. I'm trying to be. But are you? I don't know yet. It's complicated. Because of me. Because of a lot of things. The betrayal, the lies, the broken trust, and yes, because of you too. Does he talk about me? No, and I don't let him. Are you afraid he'll come looking for me again? Jennifer thought about the question honestly. I am, sometimes. He won't. How can you be sure? Because he chose you. In front of 200 people, he chose you. But he had chosen me before and still stayed with you. This time is different. He knows he lost your trust. He knows if it happens again, he'll lose you forever. And you? Me? Could you stay away from him if he came looking for you? Amanda hesitated before answering. I don't know, but I'll try. Try isn't an answer that comforts me. It's the only honest answer I can give you. Jennifer stood up from the bench. I think that's enough for today. Are you leaving? I am. And Amanda? Yes? If you really want me to forgive you someday, stay away from Michael, and from me too, for now. For how long? Until I'm ready to see you again. And how will I know when you're ready? You'll know. Jennifer walked toward the car but stopped and turned around one last time. Amanda, there's one thing I need to know. What? Did you know I had been suspecting something these past few weeks? No. Why? Because I was. Michael had been acting strange, distant, coming home late, always with excuses. His phone would ring and he wouldn't answer it in front of me. I didn't know. What if I had found out another way? If I had hired a detective or something? I don't know, maybe we would have kept hiding it. Until when? Until we couldn't anymore. Which would have been when? I don't know, Jen. Maybe forever. The answer hit Jennifer like a punch. Amanda and Michael could have kept seeing each other indefinitely if she hadn't received those photos. Who sent the photos, Amanda? I don't know. I'd like to know too. Do you have any suspicions? No. It could have been someone who saw us and thought you deserved to know, or someone who wanted to hurt both of you. That's possible too. Jennifer got into the car without saying goodbye. As she drove home, she thought about the conversation she'd had. She didn't feel better or worse, just different. When she got home, Michael was watching soccer on TV. How did it go? He asked when she walked in. How did what go? Did you meet someone? You were gone for 2 hours. Jennifer realized Michael was trying to figure out where she'd been without asking directly. I met with Amanda. Michael nearly dropped the beer he was drinking. What? Why would you do that? Because I wanted to. Jen, we agreed she wouldn't be part of our lives anymore. We agreed she wouldn't be part of our life as a couple. Not that I couldn't talk to her if I felt the need. And what did she want? To apologize. And did you accept her apology? No, but I listened. Michael turned off the TV and faced Jennifer. Jen, this isn't healthy for either of us. What isn't healthy is pretending 8 months of my life didn't happen. But they did happen and they're over. Why keep dwelling on it? Because I need to understand. I need to make sense of it all. And by talking to her, did you understand? A little. What did you understand? Jennifer sat on the couch next to Michael. That both of you took advantage of my trust. That you could have kept deceiving me indefinitely if someone hadn't sent those photos. Jen, that's in the past. For you, maybe. For me, it's still very present. What can I do to help you move past this? Be honest with me, always. About everything. I am being honest. Michael, do you miss her? The question caught Michael off guard. He opened his mouth several times before answering. Sometimes, he finally admitted. What kind of missing? Physical. The connection we had was very intense. And with me, what's our connection like? Different, deeper, more matured, but less intense. It's not about intensity, it's about quality. Michael, when you're with me, do you think about her? Sometimes, but I'm trying to stop. Jennifer nodded. At least he was being honest. And if she reached out to you, what would you do? I don't know. I hope I never have to find out. That's not an answer that reassures me. Jen, I chose you. In front of everyone, I chose you. Doesn't that mean anything to you? It does. But you'd already chosen me before when you proposed, and yet you still kept seeing her. This time is different. Why? Because now you know. Now there are real consequences. So you'll only be faithful out of fear of consequences. It's not fear. It's responsibility. What's the difference? Fear is when you don't do something because you're afraid of getting caught. Responsibility is when you don't do something because you know it's wrong. Jennifer studied Michael carefully. He seemed genuinely convinced of what he was saying. Michael, do you regret getting involved with her? I regret hurting you, but I don't regret getting to know her better. Why not? Because it helped me be sure that it's you I want to be with. How so? With her, everything was passion, desire, fire. But there was no foundation, no future. With you, there's a life to build. And is that enough for you? It's more than enough. It's everything. Jennifer wanted to believe Michael. She really wanted to believe they could build a solid marriage after everything that had happened, but part of her doubted whether it was possible. That night, while Michael slept, Jennifer stayed awake, thinking about her conversations with Amanda and then with Michael. Both seemed remorseful, both seemed to want to move forward, but something didn't add up. If Michael truly loved her and wanted to be with her, why had he kept seeing Amanda after the marriage proposal? And if Amanda really felt remorse, why had she agreed to keep seeing Michael after he committed? There were too many questions and not enough convincing answers. Jennifer began to realize she might need more information to make her decisions about the future. The next day, she called Brian, Michael's best man and his closest friend since college. Brian, can you have lunch with me today? I need to talk to you. Of course, Jennifer. Did something happen? I just need to clear up a few things about Michael. They met at a restaurant downtown. Brian seemed uncomfortable from the moment they sat down. Brian, did you know about the affair between Michael and Amanda? Jennifer, I don't know if I should... Brian, I'm his wife. I have the right to know the truth. I knew, he finally admitted, but not from the beginning. When did you find out? About 3 months ago. I noticed he was acting strange, always hiding his phone, making up excuses. And you didn't tell me why, because it wasn't my place, it was his. But did you think it was right for him to deceive me? No, I didn't, and I told him that many times. What did he say? That he was confused, that he loved you but felt a strong attraction to Amanda. And you believed him? I don't know. Michael has always been complicated with relationships. What do you mean? Brian hesitated before answering. He likes the chase, the adrenaline of something new. But when things get serious, he usually panics. Even with me? With you, it was different, at least at first. He said you were different, that he wanted to build something solid with you. But then he changed. I think he got scared of commitment, and Amanda came along at the right time. Or the wrong time, depending on how you look at it. Exactly. Jennifer took a sip of water before asking the next question. Brian, do you think they've really stopped seeing each other? I don't know, I hope so. Why did you send me those photos? Brian nearly choked on his food. How do you know it was me? I didn't, it was just a suspicion, but now I'm sure. Brian sighed deeply. I couldn't stand seeing you being deceived any longer, especially so close to the wedding. Why did you wait so long? Because I hoped Michael would tell you himself, but when I saw he wasn't going to, I decided to act. Thank you. You're not mad at me? No, you did the right thing. And now, do you think you two can stay together? I don't know. Some days I think yes, others no. What do you need to be sure? Time, and maybe more honesty from him. Jennifer, can I give you some advice? Of course. Michael loves you, I'm sure of that. But he's emotionally immature, he always has been. He needs help to grow, to understand what he really wants. And I should be his therapist. No. But maybe you should try couples therapy. Do you think he'd agree? If it's the difference between staying married or separating, I think so. Jennifer considered the suggestion. Couples therapy wasn't something she'd thought of before, but maybe it was exactly what they needed. Brian, one more question. Go ahead. Do you think Amanda is a real threat to our marriage? Brian thought carefully before answering. I think she's a temptation. I don't know if that's a real threat. What's the difference? Temptation is something you can resist if you want to. A threat is harder to control. And do you think Michael wants to resist? I think he's trying, but I'm not sure if he knows how. When Jennifer came home that afternoon, she found Michael working on his laptop at the kitchen table. How was your day? He asked without looking up from the screen. Interesting, I had lunch with Brian. Michael stopped typing immediately. With Brian? Why? Because I wanted to clear some things up. What kind of things? For example, I found out he was the one who sent the photos. Michael closed the laptop. He told you that. He confirmed it when I asked him directly. Jen, Brian had no right to do that. He had every right to protect a friend from being deceived. Friend? You barely know each other. He knows you, and he knew you were doing the wrong thing. Michael stood up and started pacing around the kitchen. Brian has always meddled too much in my life. Or maybe you need someone to help you make the right decisions. What are you trying to say? That maybe we should try couples therapy. Therapy, Jen, we can work through our problems on our own. Can we? Because so far, all we've done is sweep everything under the rug. That's not true. I admitted my mistakes, apologized, promised to change. Michael, admitting the mistake is just the first step. Understanding why it happened is much more important. I know why it happened. I was weak, stupid, irresponsible. But that doesn't explain why you kept being weak, stupid, and irresponsible for 8 months. Michael sat back down. What do you want me to say, Jen? I want you to understand that we have deep issues to work through, and we can't do it alone. And you think a stranger can help us. I think a trained professional can teach us how to communicate better, understand our feelings, and rebuild trust. What if I don't want therapy? Then you'd be telling me you don't really want to save our marriage. Michael stayed silent for a few minutes. All right, he finally said. I'll do couples therapy. Really? Really? If that's what you need to feel secure in our relationship, I'll do it. Jennifer felt an unexpected wave of relief. It was the first real sign that Michael was willing to make sacrifices for their marriage. Thank you. But I have one condition. What? Promise me you won't see Amanda again without telling me first. Michael. Jen, if we're going to work on rebuilding trust, it has to go both ways. Jennifer thought about the condition. It was fair, even if she didn't like it much. Okay, I promise. And one more thing. What? If therapy doesn't work, promise me you'll try other ways before giving up on us. What other ways? I don't know. A trip, moving to another city, whatever. Something that gives us a real chance to start over. Jennifer nodded. It was a reasonable request. Okay, I promise. The following week, they had their first couples therapy session with psychologist Margaret Johnson, a 50-year-old woman with extensive experience in relationships. Before we begin, Dr. Johnson said, I need you both to understand that couples therapy isn't magic. It's work. Hard work, sometimes painful, but it can bring very positive results if you're truly committed. We are, Jennifer said. Michael? The psychologist asked. I am, he confirmed, though his voice didn't sound entirely convincing. Great. Then let's start from the beginning. Jennifer, can you tell me how you found out about the affair? Jennifer recounted the story of the photos, the conversation with Amanda, and her decision to marry despite knowing everything. Dr. Johnson asked pointed questions, but mostly listened. Michael, now I'd like to hear your side of the story. Michael gave his version, trying to downplay certain aspects of his relationship with Amanda. The psychologist didn't allow it. Michael, it's important that you're completely honest here. Half-truths won't get us anywhere. All right. It was an 8-month parallel relationship, regular meetings, daily conversations, emotional involvement. Would you say you were in love with her? I don't know, maybe. It was very intense. Jennifer felt the familiar tightness in her chest as Michael admitted the emotional involvement. And Jennifer? Did you also feel love for her during those 8 months? I did. A different kind of love, more mature. But you didn't think it was necessary to tell her about Amanda. I didn't want to hurt her, and I was afraid of losing her. So you chose to deceive her instead. It wasn't a conscious choice. I kept postponing the conversation, hoping things would resolve themselves. How would they resolve themselves? I thought at some point I'd be able to forget Amanda and focus only on Jennifer. But that didn't happen. No. Why not? Michael hesitated. Because Amanda awakened things in me that I didn't feel with Jennifer. The answer felt like a stab to Jennifer's heart. Even in therapy, hearing Michael admit he felt things with Amanda that he didn't feel with her was devastating. What kind of things? Pressed Dr. Margaret. Passion, desire, adrenaline. And with Jennifer, security, stability, a future. The psychologist turned to Jennifer. How do you feel hearing that? Like I'm the second choice, the safe option. Is that what you think you are? Sometimes, yes. Michael, Dr. Margaret shifted her attention back to him. Do you understand how your words might make Jennifer feel? I do, but I'm being honest. Honesty is important, but so is how we communicate. Jennifer isn't a safe option. She's the woman you chose as your wife. I know that. Then why do you talk about her like she's a financial investment? That's not... Security, stability, future. Those are words we use for banks, not people we love. Michael fell silent, processing the observation. Jennifer, the psychologist continued, when you decided to marry Michael, even knowing about the affair, what did you expect? I expected him to prove he loved me more than he loved her. And did he? I don't know. Sometimes I think yes, sometimes no. What could he do to prove it? I don't know, maybe show he feels for me what he felt for her. Do you want him to feel passion for you? I want him to desire me, to miss me, to think about me when we're apart. Dr. Margaret turned to Michael. Do you feel those things for Jennifer? I feel some of them. Which ones don't you feel? The desire is sometimes less than I'd like. Why? I don't know. Maybe because our relationship is built on other things. What other things? Companionship, trust, shared goals. Michael, the psychologist said firmly, you're describing a partnership, not a marriage. What do you mean? Marriage needs to include passion too, not just stability. But passion fades over time. Not necessarily. It can change, but it doesn't have to disappear. Jennifer spoke up. Dr. Margaret, what can I do to awaken in Michael what Amanda did? Maybe the question is, why should you have to awaken anything? Why is the responsibility yours? The question caught Jennifer off guard. Because I want to save my marriage. But saving a marriage is a responsibility for two people, not just yours. Michael, the psychologist turned to him, what are you doing to awaken passion for your wife? I'm trying to be a good husband. That doesn't answer my question. I don't know what to do. With Amanda, things happened naturally. Why don't they happen naturally with Jennifer? Because she's different. Different how? More serious, more controlled. And you think that's bad? It's not bad. It's just less exciting. Jennifer felt tears in her eyes. Michael, said Dr. Margaret, do you realize you're blaming Jennifer for not being like the woman you cheated with? I'm not blaming. Yes, you are. You're saying she's less exciting, less passionate. But it's true. True for whom? For you. But maybe it's true because you chose to see Jennifer that way. What do you mean? When we meet someone forbidden, someone we shouldn't be seeing, there's a natural adrenaline rush. Everything feels more intense because it's secret. So what? Jennifer never had the chance to be forbidden for you. She was always allowed, available, safe. I still don't get it. What you felt for Amanda wasn't necessarily about her specifically. It was about the situation, the risk, the secrecy, the transgression. Michael grew thoughtful. Are you saying I could feel the same way about anyone in a similar situation? It's possible. Passion isn't just chemistry. It's also context. Jennifer perked up at the explanation. So it's possible he could feel for me what he felt for her. It's possible, but you two need to create different contexts. Step out of your comfort zone. Do things that create adrenaline, that are new, that are exciting. Like what? Michael asked. That's something you'll discover together. The important thing is to understand that passion isn't something that happens by chance. It's something you cultivate. The session ended with some exercises for them to do at home, mainly activities that would force them out of their routine and reconnect on a deeper level. On the way home, Jennifer and Michael were more upbeat than they'd been in weeks. What did you think? Jennifer asked. Better than I expected. Dr. Margaret is right about some things. Like what? About me romanticizing the situation with Amanda because of the context. And what about us? Do you think we can recreate that? I think we can try. In the following weeks, Jennifer and Michael made an effort to follow the therapy's guidance. They tried new activities, took weekend trips to nearby towns, explored new restaurants, and even took dance lessons. Slowly, Jennifer began to notice signs that Michael was reconnecting with her more intimately. He looked at her differently, showed more physical affection, and was more present in their conversations. But something still bothered Jennifer, a question she couldn't shake since their first therapy session. During their 5th session, she decided to ask it. Dr. Margaret, I need to ask Michael something, but I'm afraid of the answer. What's the question? If Amanda showed up at his door today, what would he do? The therapist turned to Michael. That's an important question. Michael, what would you do? Michael thought carefully before answering. Honestly, I don't know. Why don't you know? Because I've never been in that situation since we got married. But can you imagine? I can. And the truth is, I still feel something for her. Jennifer felt her world crumble. What kind of something? Attraction? Curiosity about how she's doing, if she's okay? And isn't that normal? Dr. Margaret asked. What do you mean? Jennifer was confused. Feeling curious about someone who was important in your life isn't abnormal. What matters is what you do with those feelings. Michael, the therapist continued, if you knew talking to Amanda wouldn't hurt Jennifer, would you talk to her? Maybe. And if you knew it would hurt her, then I wouldn't. Why? Because Jennifer is more important. Even though you feel attracted to Amanda. Even then. Jennifer studied Michael closely. There was something different in his answer. More mature, more measured. Michael, she said, would you choose her today if you had to choose again? No. Why? Because I learned that attraction and love are different things, and I love you. But do you also love her? In a different way and less importantly. Dr. Margaret, Jennifer turned to the psychologist, is it possible to love two people at the same time? Of course. But there are different kinds of love and different levels of importance, or how so? How? You can love your parents, your siblings, your friends, your husband, all at the same time, but in different ways and with different intensities. And in Michael's case? Michael can feel love for Amanda and for you, but the love he feels for you is more mature, more committed, more lasting. And the love he feels for her, it's more nostalgic, based on memories and fantasies. Jennifer turned to Michael. Is that true? I think so. With Amanda, I keep thinking about what could have been. With you, I think about what will be. And what do you prefer? What will be? Why? Because it's real. It's building. It's the future. Jennifer felt something had changed in the way Michael spoke about her. It wasn't just security and stability anymore. It was the future. It was an active choice. Jennifer, said Dr. Margaret, how do you feel hearing this? Better, but still insecure. Insecure about what? About being enough for him. Do you think you're not? Sometimes. Why? Because if I were enough, he wouldn't have sought someone else. Jennifer, that's a distorted thought. How so? Betrayal doesn't happen because the wife is lacking. It happens because of the betrayer's own issues. But something must have been missing in the relationship. Maybe. But the responsibility to identify and communicate what's missing lies with the one who feels it, not the one who was betrayed. Michael, the psychologist turned to him. What was missing in your relationship with Jennifer that you sought with Amanda? Novelty, adventure, unpredictability. And did you communicate this to Jennifer? No. Why? Because I thought she wasn't that kind of person. Without even trying to find out? Without trying. Jennifer, Dr. Margaret turned back to her. Are you adventurous? Unpredictable? I can be. No one ever gave me the chance. Michael, are you hearing this? I am. What do you think? I think I had preconceptions about Jen. What kind of preconceptions? I thought she was more straight-laced, more predictable. And now? Now I'm discovering sides of her I didn't know. How do you feel about that? Surprised and excited. Jennifer smiled for the first time in weeks. Dr. Margaret, it seems like we're making progress. You are, but there's still work to do. What kind of work? Mostly forgiveness. Jennifer, have you forgiven Michael? I'm trying. But have you managed to? Not completely. What's stopping you? Fear that it'll happen again. Is that fear rational? I think so. If it happened once, it could happen again. Michael, the psychologist turned to him. Will it happen again? No. How can you be sure? Because now I understand the consequences, and because I've learned to communicate better. And if you feel attracted to someone else, I'll talk to Jen about it. Really? Jennifer seemed surprised. Really? Because I've learned that keeping secrets is what causes the problem. And if I get angry, then we'll work it out together, but at least it won't be a lie. Dr. Margaret smiled. That's significant progress. After 3 months of therapy, Jennifer and Michael were in a very different place than at the start. They communicated better, had more physical and emotional intimacy, and Jennifer felt more secure in the relationship. But there was still one lingering issue. One day, during a walk in the park, Jennifer asked the question that had been bothering her for weeks. "Michael, do you ever wonder how Amanda is doing?" "I do," he admitted. "But I won't go looking." "And if you knew, I wouldn't mind." "What do you mean?" "What if I said you could hear about her from time to time, as long as you're transparent with me?" Michael stopped walking. "Why would you do that?" "Because I've learned that forbidding things only makes them more tempting. And because I trust you more now." "Jen, are you sure?" "I am, but with conditions." "What are they?" "If you hear anything about her, you tell me. If she tries to talk to you, you tell me before responding. And if at any point you feel like you still love her, you tell me that too. And what will you do if I feel like I still love her? Then we'll talk about it and decide what to do, together." Michael hugged Jennifer. "You've changed a lot these past few months." "We both have." "For the better?" "I think so." A few days later, Michael came home with a strange look on his face. "Jen, I need to tell you something." "What happened?" "I heard about Amanda today." Jennifer felt the familiar tightness in her chest, but took a deep breath. "What did you hear?" "She's dating someone. Brian told me." "And how do you feel about that?" Michael thought before answering. "Relieved." "Relieved?" "Yes, because it means she's moved on, that she's not waiting for me anymore." "And that's good?" "It's great, because it removes a temptation I still felt." "You still felt tempted?" "I did. Not to reach out to her, but to wonder if she still thought about me." "And now?" "Now I know she's found someone else, and that gives me peace." Jennifer hugged Michael. "Thank you for telling me. Thank you for letting me tell you." A year after their tumultuous marriage, Jennifer and Michael were renewing their vows in a small, intimate ceremony for close family. This time there was no drama, no shocking revelations, no desperate tears. There were just two people who had learned to love each other in a mature, honest, and complete way. At the reception after the ceremony, Jennifer was talking to her mother when she spotted a familiar figure in the distance. It was Amanda, who was passing through town to visit Betty. "Mom, I'll be right back." Jennifer walked toward the gate where Amanda stood, seemingly hesitating between entering or leaving. "Hi, Amanda." "Hi, Jen. Congratulations." "Thank you. Are you okay?" "I am, more or less." "What do you mean?" "I'm seeing someone. He's a good person, but sometimes I wonder if I'm with him for the right reasons." "What reasons?" "If I'm with him because I really like him, or if I'm just trying to forget Michael." Jennifer studied her cousin. She was thinner, paler, but also seemed more mature. "Amanda, can I give you some advice?" "Of course." "Stop trying to forget Michael. Accept that you two had something special, but it's over. Let it be part of your story without being the center of it." "What do you mean?" "You learned important things from him, about yourself, about relationships, about what you want. Use that to build something better with someone else." "Did you manage to do that?" "I did, and look at us now." Amanda glanced at the reception where Michael was chatting animatedly with the guests. "You two seem happy." "We are. Not in the way I imagined when we first got married, but we are." "Jen, have you forgiven me?" Jennifer considered the question. "I've forgiven you, but I haven't forgotten, and I think that's how it should be." Can we try to be cousins again someday?" "Maybe. With time. And with boundaries." "What kind of boundaries?" "We'll never be the same cousins we were, but maybe we can be something new." "I'd like that." "Me too. But only when we're both ready." "How will we know when we're ready?" "We'll know." Amanda smiled for the first time in months. "Jen, do you think Michael is happy?" "I do." "Why do you ask?" "Because I want him to be, even if it's not with me." That's the first thing you've said about him that wasn't about you. And is that good? It's a start. The two stood silently for a few minutes, watching the party. Jen, I'm leaving now, but I want you to know I learned a lot from all this. What did you learn? That love isn't just desire, that family matters, and that some choices have consequences that last forever. Those are important lessons. They are, and I'll try not to forget. Amanda turned to leave, but Jennifer called her. Amanda? Yes? Take good care of your boyfriend, and this time, be honest from the start. I will. I promise. Jennifer returned to the party, where Michael was waiting for her on the dance floor. Who were you talking to? He asked. Amanda. Michael tensed up. How did it go? Well, I think she's really moving on. And you? Me too. Really? Really? Michael pulled her closer as they danced. Jen, I love you. I love you too. Not just as safe or mature love. I love you passionately too. Really? Really? You're everything I've ever wanted. It just took me a while to realize it. And now that you have, now I'll never let you forget it. Jennifer laughed. Is that a promise? It's a promise. As they danced, Jennifer looked around the party. Her family was happy, their friends were enjoying themselves, and Michael was there, present in love, truly committed. It had been a tough year, maybe the hardest of her life. But it had also been a year of growth, learning and discovery. She'd realized she was stronger than she thought, that true love includes forgiveness but also boundaries, that marriage is work, but work worth doing. And most of all, she'd learned that sometimes the worst situations can lead to the best outcomes if you have the courage to face them head on. What are you thinking about? Michael asked. How we got here. Was it worth it? Yes. Every tear, every fight, every therapy session. It was worth it. Even with all the pain. Especially because of the pain, it taught us what really matters. And what matters? Truth, honesty, real commitment. And love. And love. But real love. Not fantasy, not illusion. Love that works in real life. Michael kissed her softly. I love you in real life, Jennifer. I love you in real life too, Michael. And this time, when they said those words, they both knew exactly what they meant. 2 years later, Jennifer was 6 months pregnant when she received an unexpected invitation. It was to Amanda's wedding. She showed the invitation to Michael. What do you think? Should I go? Do you want to? Part of me does. Another part thinks it might be awkward. Why do you want to go? Because maybe it's a way to truly close this chapter, to show we've moved on. And why would it be awkward? Because 2 years ago, she was in love with you. Michael took the invitation and read it carefully. Jen, I'll support whatever you decide. But can I give you my opinion? Of course. I think you should go, but not for her, for you. How so? To prove to yourself that you've truly forgiven, that you've truly moved past it. What if it's hard? If it's hard, we leave, but at least you tried. Would you come with me? If you wanted me to, yes. Even knowing she might still have feelings for you. Jen, 2 years ago, I'd have been afraid of that. Today, I know what she feels, or doesn't change how I feel about you. Jennifer smiled. You've changed so much. We both have. For the better. Definitely for the better. On the day of Amanda's wedding, Jennifer and Michael arrived at St. Patrick's Church dressed elegantly. Jennifer looked beautiful in a blue dress that accentuated her baby bump. Amanda was radiant at the altar. Her groom, Robert, was a simple man who gazed at her with adoration. It was clear he truly loved her. During the ceremony, Jennifer watched her cousin closely. There was a serenity in Amanda she hadn't seen in years, a peace that came from someone who had finally found their place. When the priest asked if anyone objected to the marriage, there was a moment of tension. Everyone who knew the story discreetly glanced at Michael, but he was holding Jennifer's hand, smiling at her. At the reception, Jennifer and Amanda ran into each other in the bathroom. Jen, Thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me. You look beautiful. Pregnancy has made you even prettier. Thank you. And you're glowing. Robert seems to love you very much. He does. And I love him too. The right way this time. The right way. No hiding, no lying, no pretending to be someone I'm not. That's good, Amanda. You deserve to be happy. You do too, and from what I see, you are. I am, very much. Jen, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you think we'll ever be close again? Jennifer thought about the question. Not like before, but maybe we can build something new. What would that look like? I don't know yet, but maybe it starts with being polite to each other. Then who knows, distant friends, and one day maybe cousins who respect each other. That would be enough for me. For me too. Jen, one more thing. Go ahead. Thank you for giving me the chance to grow. If you had forgiven me too easily, I might never have learned the lessons I needed to learn. And what were those lessons? That actions have consequences, that family is sacred, that honesty is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Those are important lessons. They are. And I'll teach them to my children when they come. You want kids? I do. And I hope they'll be friends with yours. Maybe they will. Wouldn't that be beautiful? A new generation that doesn't carry the mistakes of ours. It would be very beautiful. The two hugged for the first time in 2 years. It wasn't the warm embrace of the past, but it was real. A hug of mutual respect and true forgiveness. When they returned to the party, they found Michael talking to Robert. How are they getting along? Jennifer asked. Well, Amanda replied, Robert isn't jealous of the past. He says what matters is the present. He's right. He is. And that's how I know I chose the right person this time. The party continued without drama. Jennifer and Michael danced, chatted with other guests, and genuinely enjoyed themselves. There was no tension, no awkwardness. As they left, Michael asked, "How do you feel?" Free. Free how? Free from the past, free from anger, free from fear. What fear? The fear that our story with Amanda wasn't really over. And now it is. Now it is. And a new story has begun. What do you mean? The story of two cousins who made mistakes, who suffered, who learned, and who can now move forward respecting each other. Do you think you'll ever be friends again? Maybe, but no rush. These things can't be forced. And if she reaches out, I'll respond politely, but I'll keep the boundaries I've learned to set. What boundaries? I'll never blindly trust her again. I'll never share intimate secrets with her, and I'll never let her too close to my family again. Isn't that partial forgiveness? No, it's smart forgiveness. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It means not letting the past control your present and future. Michael nodded. You've learned a lot these past 2 years. We both have. What have you learned about me? That you're capable of change, that you're capable of growth, and that you truly love me. And what have you learned about yourself? That I'm stronger than I thought, that I can forgive without being foolish, and that I deserve to be loved completely. You are loved completely. I know. And that's why I was able to forgive both of you and move on. 6 months later, Jennifer gave birth to a beautiful girl named Emma. Michael proved to be a devoted and loving father, and their family was complete. Amanda sent a gift for the baby with a simple card. To Emma, with love from Aunt Amanda, may she grow up in a world where people love each other honestly. Jennifer smiled as she read the card. It was exactly the kind of message she expected from the new Amanda. Simple, respectful, without exaggeration. A few months later, Jennifer ran into Amanda at the supermarket. Both had their babies with them. Amanda had given birth to a boy 3 months after Emma. What a coincidence, Amanda said. It really is. How's Ryan doing? Growing fast? And Emma? Same, not sleeping well, but growing. They're beautiful. They take after their parents. Yours is gorgeous too. They chatted for a few minutes about neutral topics. Pediatricians, diapers, baby sleep. It was a normal conversation between two acquainted mothers, no drama, no tension. "Jen," Amanda said before they parted, "can I invite you to something?" "Of course. Betty is hosting a family lunch on Sunday. Would you, Michael and Emma, like to come?" Jennifer thought about the invitation. It was a big step, returning to family events where Amanda would be present. "I'll talk to Michael and let you know. No pressure." "Amanda?" "Yes? If we go, it'll be as family, not as close friends. Do you understand the difference?" "I do, and I agree." Then it's settled. The following Sunday, Jennifer, Michael, and Emma went to the lunch. It was the first time in 3 years the whole family was together. There was an initial moment of tension, but soon everyone settled in. The children played together, the adults talked about various things, and the lunch went smoothly. At the end of the day, Betty pulled Jennifer aside. "Thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me. You don't know how important it is for our family to have you two here at peace. It's important for me too, Aunt Betty. You won't go back to being the same, I know that, but at least you can coexist civilly." "We can, and that's what we'll do from now on. Amanda has changed a lot, you know. I've noticed. She's learned the value of family, learned to be honest, learned to build healthy relationships. I'm happy for her. And you? Are you happy?" "I am, Aunt Betty. Very happy. And Michael? He is too. We're a real family now." "That's wonderful, dear. Truly wonderful." When they left that night, Jennifer felt at peace. Not the peace of full reconciliation, but the peace of resolution. The peace of someone who closed a chapter in a mature and healthy way. "How was it for you?" Michael asked in the car. "Better than I expected." "And Amanda?" "She was normal, respectful, a dedicated mother, a happy wife." "Do you feel anything when you see her?" "I do, but it's not anger or resentment. It's a kind of nostalgia for what we used to be." "Does that bother you?" "No. It's normal to feel nostalgic. The important thing is not to let it interfere with the present. Will you two be able to get along normally?" "I think so, not as best friends, but as distant family." "And is that enough for you?" "It's more than enough. It's healthy." 2 years later, Jennifer was pregnant again when she got a call from Amanda. "Jen, sorry to bother you, but I need a favor." "What favor?" "Betty's in the hospital. She had a heart attack. It's not serious, but she wants to see the whole family." "Of course, we'll head there now." "Thank you. She specifically asked for you to come too." At the hospital, the whole family was gathered in Betty's room. The matriarch was okay, but visibly frail. "Jennifer," Betty called when she saw her arrive, "come here." Jennifer approached the bed. "How are you feeling?" "Better now that you're all here. All my girls together. All of them. You and Amanda. My 2 special girls." Jennifer and Amanda exchanged glances. Betty had always considered them her daughters at heart. "Girls," Betty continued, "I want you to promise me something." "What, Aunt Betty?" Jennifer asked. "That you'll take care of each other when I'm no longer here." "You'll be with us for many more years," Amanda said. "Maybe, but I want to make sure you don't let the mistakes of the past destroy this family." "We won't, Aunt Betty," Jennifer promised, "and that you'll let your children be friends, that the next generation won't pay for the mistakes of this one." "We will," Amanda vowed, "and if you ever need each other, you'll set aside your pride and help one another." Jennifer and Amanda looked at each other again. It was a heavy promise, but an important one. "We promise," they said together. Betty smiled and closed her eyes, at peace. 3 years later, Betty passed away in her sleep at 78. The funeral brought the whole extended family together, and Jennifer and Amanda found themselves helping with the arrangements. They worked side by side for 2 days, dividing tasks, comforting relatives, looking after the children. They didn't talk about the past, only the present, the funeral details, memories of their grandmother, the family's future. At the end of the 2nd day, when everyone had left, they stayed behind in Betty's house finishing up. "Jen," Amanda said, "thank you for helping so much. Betty was important to me too. She always said you were like a daughter to her. And you were too. It's strange, isn't it, how well we worked together today? It's not strange. It's maturity. Do you think we could ever be friends again? I don't know, but we can be family. And maybe that's more important. How so? Friendship is a choice. Family is a commitment. And we have a commitment to each other because of our kids, our parents, our history. Even after everything that happened. Especially because of everything that happened. Because we proved we can get through the worst and come out stronger. Do you think Betty would be proud of us? I think so. Not for who we were before, but for who we've become. And who have we become? People who've learned that true forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's choosing to build something new on the ruins of what was destroyed. Amanda smiled. That's beautiful. It's true. They finished packing in silence. As they were leaving, Amanda asked, "Jen, do you have time for a quick coffee?" "I do." They went to a nearby bakery they used to visit with Betty as kids. They ordered the same cake Betty always bought them. "You know what I miss most about her?" Amanda asked. "What?" "The way she could always see the best in any situation. Even in ours. Especially in ours. She always said what happened between us was terrible, but it could teach us important things. And did it? It did. At least for me. What did you learn? That real love isn't possession. That family matters more than passion, and that honesty is always the best path even when it's hard. Those are valuable lessons. And you? What did you learn? Jennifer thought about it. That forgiveness is a process, not an event. That trust can be rebuilt, but with new boundaries. And sometimes the worst things that happen to us can lead us to the best places. Do you think you're in a better place now? Much better. My marriage is stronger. My family is closer, and I'm tougher. And me? Do you think I'm in a better place? Jennifer studied her cousin. Amanda was thinner, more serious, but there was a calmness in her that hadn't been there before. I think so. You seem more grounded. I feel it. For the first time in my life, I know exactly who I am and what I want. And what do you want? A happy family, a marriage built on truth, and the chance to be a better person than I was. I think you've achieved all that. I have, and I owe much of it to you. To me? Yes. If you had forgiven me easily, I would never have learned the lessons I needed to learn. I didn't do it on purpose to teach you anything. I know. You did it to protect yourself, but you ended up protecting me too. How so? You protected me from continuing to be an irresponsible and selfish person, Jennifer smiled. Maybe Betty was right. About what? About everything having a purpose, even the bad things. Do you believe that? I do. Not that bad things happen for a good reason, but that we can find good reasons even in the bad things. And what was the good reason in our story? We both became better people. Michael became a better person. Our marriages are stronger. Our children will grow up seeing that it's possible to overcome conflicts with maturity. That's a beautiful perspective. It's a true one. They finished their coffee and got ready to leave. Jen, Amanda said, can I ask you one last thing? Of course. When the kids grow up and ask about our story, what will you tell them? The truth. That we were very close, that we made mistakes that hurt the family, but that we learned from those mistakes and became better people. And if they ask if we were friends again, I'll say we're family who respect each other, and that sometimes that's more important than friendship. Can I agree with that version? You can, because it's the truth. They said goodbye with a respectful hug. It wasn't the warm embrace of the past, but it wasn't too formal either. It was the hug of two people who had shared a difficult story and managed to find peace. 5 years later, Jennifer was watching her daughter Emma play in the park when a child approached. "Aunt Jen!" the boy shouted. It was Ryan, Amanda's son, now 8 years old. "Hi, Ryan. How are you?" "Good. Mommy's over there." He pointed to a nearby bench where Amanda was sitting with a baby in her arms. "Hi, Jen," Amanda said as Jennifer approached. "Hi. Is this the new baby? Yes, Madison. She was born last month. She's beautiful. Thank you. And how's Emma? Good. Asking when she'll get a little brother. And will she? We're trying. They talked for a few minutes about everyday things, the kids' school, work, weekend plans. It was a normal conversation between two acquaintances who occasionally met. Jen, Amanda said as Emma and Ryan started playing together, have you noticed how well they get along? I have. It's beautiful to see. They don't know our story. And they don't need to yet. When they do find out, do you think it will change anything? It depends on how we tell it. How do you plan to tell it? As a story of people who made mistakes, learned, and grew. As a lesson about the importance of forgiveness and family. I think that's a good way. And you? I'll tell it the same way. As a story of growth and overcoming. They watched the children play. Emma and Ryan laughed, ran around, and shared toys. It was impossible to imagine their mothers had gone through so much conflict. Jen, Amanda said, can I tell you something? Of course. I admire the person you've become. Why? Because you managed to forgive without forgetting. You were mature without being cold. You kept the family together even after everything. Thank you. I also admire the person you've become. Why? Because you owned up to your mistakes and truly changed, not superficially but deeply. It was hard. For me too. But was it worth it? It was. To all of us. When it was time to leave, Emma asked to play with Ryan again. Can I schedule a play date for them? Asked Jennifer. Of course. They can play at my house on Saturday. Are you sure? I am. And Jen? Yes? You can stay too if you'd like, so we can talk while they play. Jennifer hesitated for a moment. Okay. But as family, not as... As family, Amanda finished. I understand. The following Saturday, Jennifer took Emma to play at Amanda's house. The house was cozy, decorated with photos of Amanda and Robert's family. While the kids played in the backyard, Jennifer and Amanda talked in the kitchen. How's Robert? Asked Jennifer. Good, working a lot, but happy. And you? Happy too. I finally know what it's like to be in a relationship based on honesty. Is it different? Completely. No anxiety, no fear, no secrets. That's wonderful. And you? How's Michael? Good too, more mature, more present, more committed. How long did you two do therapy? 2 years. It was essential. Robert and I did it too. Really? Yes, before getting married. I wanted to be sure I was entering the relationship for the right reasons. And were you? I was. But therapy helped me understand my behavior patterns better. What patterns? The tendency to seek validation through male attention, the difficulty handling commitment, the lack of clear boundaries. And were you able to change those patterns? I was. With work and patience. Jennifer was impressed by Amanda's maturity. You've changed so much. I had to change. I had no choice. Everyone has a choice. True. I chose to change because I realized that the way I was, I'd never truly be happy. And now you are? I am. For the first time in my life, I'm genuinely happy. The kids ran into the kitchen, asking for water and cookies. Mom, Emma said to Jennifer, Ryan said his family is having a party next week. Can I go? Jennifer looked at Amanda. What party? Robert's birthday. Just family, really. Would you like to come? Asked Amanda. Emma and Ryan are having so much fun. Jennifer thought about the invitation. It would be another step in normalizing the relationship between the families. I'll talk to Michael. Of course, no pressure. That night, Jennifer told Michael about the invitation. What do you think? She asked. I think it would be good, for the kids and for us too. You don't feel uncomfortable? Not anymore. It's been 5 years, Jen, and today I know exactly how I feel about you and about her. How do you feel about her? Respect. Recognition that she's changed. and gratitude for helping me appreciate what I have with you. Gratitude? Yes. If it weren't for her, maybe I'd never have learned to be the husband you deserve. That's an interesting way to see things. It's a mature way to see things. At Robert's birthday party, Jennifer and Michael genuinely enjoyed themselves. They met other friends of Amanda and Robert, talked about various topics, and watched the kids play together. At one point during the party, Jennifer was alone in the garden when Amanda approached. "Thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting us." "Jen, can I ask you a strange question?" "Of course. Do you think we're friends now?" Jennifer thought about the question. "I think we're something better than friends." "How so?" "Friends are a choice. You can choose again if you change your mind. What we have is stronger." "What do we have?" "Shared history, family, respect earned through hardships, love that survived betrayal." "Love? Yes, a different kind of love. Not the love from before, which was based on innocence, but a new love based on truly knowing each other, including the flaws?" "Especially including the flaws." Amanda smiled. "That's a beautiful way to see it. It's the truthful way to see it." "Jen, one more question." "Go ahead." "If you could go back in time and prevent all this from happening, would you?" Jennifer thought deeply about the question. "No." "No?" "No, because everything that happened brought us here, and here is a good place. Even with all the pain was part of growing. Without it, maybe we wouldn't have learned what we needed to learn." "You're not angry about the pain you felt?" "No, I'm grateful." "Grateful?" "Yes. Because the pain taught me I'm stronger than I thought. It taught me the value of true forgiveness. It taught me that real love isn't fantasy. It's a daily choice. And it taught me I deserve to be loved completely," Amanda added. "Exactly. So the story had a happy ending?" "It did. For all of us." "And Michael?" "Michael learned that commitment isn't a prison, it's freedom. The freedom to build something solid with someone who's worth it. It's beautiful to think that way. It's true to think that way." At that moment, Michael and Robert approached with the kids. "Did you talk everything out?" Michael asked with a smile. "We did," Jennifer replied. "And did you reach any conclusions?" "We did," Amanda said, "that we're a happy family." "The whole family?" Robert asked. "The whole family," Jennifer confirmed. Emma tugged at her mother's sleeve. "Mommy, can we be friends with Ryan forever now?" "Yes, sweetheart, forever." And that's how Jennifer realized she'd found the right word to define what they'd become. They weren't ex-friends, they weren't enemies, they weren't acquaintances. They were family. A family that had weathered storms and come out stronger. A family that had learned true love includes forgiveness, but also boundaries. A family that had discovered sometimes the worst situations lead to the best outcomes. A family that had chosen to grow together instead of apart. And as she watched Emma and Ryan playing, Jennifer knew they'd give the next generations something she and Amanda had lost and found again. The certainty that family is forever, even when all seems lost. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. 10 years had passed since that tumultuous wedding that changed the lives of everyone involved. Jennifer and Michael now had 3 children, Emma, 13, Ethan, 9, and little Lily, 4. Amanda and Robert had also built a large family, Ryan, 15, Madison, 8, and the twins Gabriel and Matthew, 5. The 2 families met regularly at gatherings, and the kids had grown up like close cousins, never suspecting the complex history that had shaped their mother's relationship. One Saturday afternoon, Jennifer was organizing old photos when she found pictures from her first wedding. It had been a long time since she'd looked at them, and it was surprising how she felt seeing them now. There was no more pain, no more anger, just a quiet nostalgia for the people they'd once been. "What are you looking at?" "Looking," Michael asked, coming up behind her. "Pictures from our wedding." "The first or the second?" he asked with a smile. "The first." The dramatic one. Michael sat beside her on the couch and picked up one of the photos. Look at our faces here. You look like you're about to explode, and I look like I want to run away. Because you did want to run away. True. Back then, I still didn't have the courage to face reality. And now you do? Now I do. In fact, I can tell you something I never told you before. Jennifer looked at him curiously. What? On our wedding day, when you gave me the ultimatum about telling everyone publicly, for a moment I thought about cancelling everything and running away with Amanda. Really? Really, for about 5 minutes I thought it would be easier. And what made you change your mind? I realized running away wouldn't solve anything, and that you were giving me a chance to grow that I couldn't waste. Weren't you afraid it might go wrong? I was terrified, but I was even more afraid of spending the rest of my life wondering what if. Jennifer smiled and kissed Michael softly. I'm proud of who you've become. I'm proud of who we've become. Just then, Emma walked into the room, returning from an outing with her friends. Dad, Mom, can I ask a weird question? Of course, sweetheart. Why did you get married twice? Jennifer and Michael exchanged glances. It was a question they knew would come someday, but they'd never decided exactly how to answer. Where did you hear that? Asked Jennifer. Grandma Susan was showing pictures to Lily and mentioned your 2 weddings. Michael took a deep breath. Emma, sit down. I think it's time you heard the whole story. For the next 30 minutes, Jennifer and Michael told Emma an age-appropriate version of what had happened. They talked about mistakes, forgiveness, growth, and the importance of honesty in relationships. Emma listened quietly, asking thoughtful questions. And Aunt Amanda, are you still friends? We're family, Jennifer replied. Sometimes that's more important than friendship. And did you forgive each other? We forgave and learned a lot from it all. And that's why you're happier now? Exactly, said Michael. Sometimes the worst things that happen to us teach us the most important lessons. Can I tell Ethan and Lily? When they're older, Jennifer said. For now, it can be our special secret. What about Ryan and the other cousins? They'll know when their parents decide to tell them. Emma nodded, processing everything she'd heard. Mom, Dad, do you think what happened was bad or good? The question caught them off guard. Why do you ask? Said Michael. Because if it hadn't happened, maybe you wouldn't have learned to love each other the right way. And maybe me, Ethan, and Lily wouldn't exist. Jennifer felt tears in her eyes. Emma's wisdom was remarkable. You're right, sweetheart. It was a bad thing that brought very good things. So it was a blessing in disguise. That's exactly what it was. That night, after the kids went to bed, Jennifer and Michael talked about Emma's reaction. She handled the story better than I expected, said Michael. She's mature for her age, and she grew up seeing that problems can be solved with talk and respect. Do you think we should tell the others too? Let's give them a little more time, but I think it's important they all know eventually. Why? So they learn that mistakes don't define a person, and that true forgiveness is possible. A few days later, Jennifer got an unexpected call from Amanda. Jen, do you have time to talk? Of course, is something wrong? Ryan asked me some questions about our past. I think he overheard something somewhere. Emma asked too. We told her an age-appropriate version. What did you say? The basic truth. That there were mistakes, pain, forgiveness, and growth. And how did she take it? Better than we expected. She called it a blessing in disguise. Smart girl. Takes after her parents, Jennifer joked. Jen, can we meet to talk about how we'll handle this with the other kids? Of course. Where? Our special coffee shop, Jennifer smiled. Amanda was referring to the bakery near Grandma Betty's house, where they had talked for the first time after years of distance. Great idea. The next day, the two met at the bakery. The place had changed little over the years, and they still served the same cake Betty always bought for them. It's strange to be here again, said Amanda. It's nostalgic, agreed Jennifer. Jen, I wanted to ask you something important. Go ahead. Do you think it's time to tell the kids everything? Maybe the older ones. Ryan is 15, Emma is 13. They can understand. And how do we do it? together, both families, so they see it's a story with a happy ending. Would you be up for it? I would. In fact, I think it would be healthy. What if they're shocked? They will be, but they'll also learn important lessons about forgiveness, family, and second chances. Jen, there's something I never told you. What? I really admire you for what you did that day. Which day? The day of your wedding, when you decided to expose everything publicly. Why do you admire that? Because you had the courage to choose the truth, even though you knew it would be painful. I never would have had that courage. Maybe you would. People are braver than they think when they have no other choice. Do you think if I were in your place, I'd have done the same thing? I don't know. Everyone reacts differently to betrayal. How would you react today if you found out Michael was cheating on you? Differently. How? Today, I'd talk to him first, try to understand what's going on, give him a chance to explain before making any drastic decisions. Why differently? Because now I know relationships are complicated, that people make mistakes for reasons that aren't always about lack of love. And if he admitted he was cheating, then it would depend on the circumstances. If it was something emotional, deep, like it was with you, maybe I couldn't forgive again. What if it was something casual? Maybe I could, but I don't know. I'd only know if I were in that situation. Jen, can I confess something? Of course. Sometimes I wonder what my life would have been like if Michael had chosen me that day. And what conclusion do you reach? That it probably wouldn't have worked. Why? Because a relationship that starts with betrayal carries a mark that's hard to erase. You think so? I'm sure. I'd always wonder if he'd cheat on me too, and he'd always wonder if he made the right choice. And with me and Robert, it's different. Completely different. With Robert, everything's been transparent from day one. There are no shadows from the past haunting our present. That's good, Amanda. You deserve that peace. You do too. And from what I see, you have it. I do. Michael became exactly the man I always dreamed he could be. He's changed a lot. We all have. For the better. They sat in silence for a few minutes, each lost in her own thoughts. Jen, Amanda finally said, I have a proposal for you. What? How about we plan a dinner with both families? The older kids, I mean, and tell our story together. That would be a good idea, but it has to be well planned. How so? We have to think about how to tell it, what words to use, how to answer the questions that will surely come. You're right. It's a big responsibility, but a necessary one. They'll find out eventually anyway. It's better they hear it from us. What if some of them get upset? Then we'll handle it. Together. Jen, do you think our kids will be able to stay friends after finding out everything? I think so. They've grown up seeing that problems can be solved, and they'll understand their parents' mistakes have nothing to do with them. I hope you're right. I am. Children are wiser than we think. The following Saturday, the two families gathered at Jennifer's house for the special dinner. The younger children were left at their grandparents' house, and only Emma, Ryan, and Madison joined the conversation. After dinner, everyone gathered in the living room. Jennifer and Amanda stood facing the children, with Michael and Robert beside them. Kids, Jennifer began. You know we've always been a very close family, even though we've gone through some tough times in the past. What tough times? Ryan asked. That's what we wanted to talk to you about today, Amanda said. About a time when things weren't as they are now. For the next hour, Jennifer and Amanda told the whole story, tailored to the children's ages. They spoke about friendship, mistakes, betrayal, forgiveness, and growth. The children listened quietly, asking occasional questions. Did you hate each other? Madison asked. For a while, yes, Jennifer admitted. But we learned that hating hurts the one who hates more than the one who's hated. And now you're friends again? Emma asked. We're family, Amanda replied, which is more important than friendship. Uncle Michael, Ryan said, do you regret being with my mom? I regretted lying to Aunt Jennifer, but I don't regret getting to know your mom better. because it helped me appreciate what I have with my wife. What if it all happened again? Emma asked. It wouldn't, Michael said, because now we know things we didn't know before. What things? Ryan pressed. That honesty is always better than lying, even when it's hard, Amanda answered. And that problems are solved by talking, not hiding, Jennifer added. The children asked a few more questions, then chatted among themselves in the backyard while the adults finished cleaning the kitchen. How do you think they took it? Michael asked. Better than we expected, Jennifer said. They're mature, Robert commented. They grew up in families that value talking and honesty. It's the result of everything we've learned, Amanda said. When the children came back inside, Ryan asked a question no one expected. Aunt Jennifer, Uncle Michael, can you teach us how to solve problems like you did? How do you mean? Jennifer asked. How to forgive when someone hurts us. How to talk about hard things. How to keep the family together even when everything seems lost. Jennifer and Michael exchanged an emotional glance. Of course we can, Michael said. It would be an honor. And you too, Mom and Dad, Ryan said to Amanda and Robert. You can teach us to be honest from the start. Of course, Amanda said, her eyes welling up. Emma moved closer to Jennifer. Mom, I'm proud of you. Why, sweetheart? Because you proved that true love is stronger than any problem. It wasn't us who proved it, Emma. It was love that proved it through us. Madison walked up to Amanda. Mom, you're heroes. Heroes? Amanda laughed. Yes, because you fought against evil and won. What evil? Anger, hate, the urge to give up. Robert hugged his daughter. She's right. You're real-life heroes. That night, after Amanda and Robert left with the children, Jennifer and Michael talked about how the dinner had gone. I think we did the right thing, Jennifer said. We definitely did. They handled the story very maturely. And now they know they can trust us to talk about anything. Exactly. There are no more secrets in the family. Michael, can I ask you something? Of course. Did you ever regret choosing me? Never. Not for a second. Even during the hardest times in therapy. Especially in the hardest moments. Because they showed me how much you're worth. And if you could change something in our story, I'd only change one thing. What? I would have been honest with you from the very first day. I would have spared you months of lies. But then maybe we wouldn't have learned the lessons we did. That's true. Maybe everything happened exactly as it needed to. Michael, I also want to confess something to you. What? Sometimes I'm grateful for the betrayal. How so? Because it forced us to build a real relationship, based on honesty, not fantasy. That's an interesting way to see it. It's the only way that makes sense to me. Because if we stay stuck in the pain of the past, we lose the joy of the present. And are you happy in the present? I'm the happiest woman in the world, even knowing everything that happened, especially because I know everything that happened, because it gave me certainty that our love is real, tested and solid. Michael kissed Jennifer tenderly. I love you, Jennifer. I love you more than I've ever loved anyone in my life. I love you too, and I love the family we've built together. And I love the people we've become. And I love the future ahead of us. 3 years later, Jennifer was organizing Emma's wedding, who had decided to marry at 16 to her childhood sweetheart in a simple yet emotional ceremony. Mom, Emma said while trying on her dress, can I ask you for advice? Of course, sweetheart. How do I have a marriage like yours and Dad's? What do you mean? A marriage that overcomes any problem, that grows stronger with time. Jennifer smiled, touched by the question. Sweetheart, the secret isn't avoiding problems, it's facing them together. But how? With total honesty. No lies, no secrets, no half-truths. What if the other person gets hurt by the honesty? Then you talk about that hurt and solve it together. But always with the truth. And if we make serious mistakes, then you apologize sincerely, and you work hard not to make the same mistakes again. Like you did? Exactly like we did. Emma hugged her mother. Mom, thank you for showing me that true love exists. Thank you for giving me the chance to prove it. On Emma's wedding day, the whole family was gathered. Jennifer watched her daughter walk down the aisle of St. Patrick's Church, and remembered her own troubled wedding 15 years earlier. So much had changed. How much they had grown. How much love had been built on the ruins of pain. During the celebration, Amanda approached Jennifer. "Beautiful ceremony." "Thank you." Emma looked radiant. Like a princess who knows exactly what she wants and how to get it. She takes after her mother. She takes after the whole family, our family. Amanda smiled. "Jen, can I tell you something?" "Always." "Today, seeing all this happiness, all these children who grew up knowing problems are solved with love, I'm sure our story had the best possible ending." "I'm sure too. And you know why?" "Why?" "Because we turned our pain into wisdom, and our wisdom into love, and our love into family." Jennifer hugged Amanda. "We're quite a family, aren't we?" "We are. A family that proves true forgiveness is possible. A family that proves true love is stronger than any storm. A family that proves second chances can be better than first chances. And a family that proves sometimes the worst things that happen to us can lead to the best places in our lives." That night, when everyone had left, Jennifer and Michael were alone in their backyard, watching the stars. "What are you thinking about?" Michael asked. "How we got here. Long journey, but worth every step. Even the painful steps. Especially the painful steps, because they're the ones that taught us to cherish the joyful ones. Jennifer, I have something for you." "What?" Michael pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. "What's this?" "Open it and see." Jennifer opened the box and found a new ring, more beautiful than the original. "Michael, 15 years ago, I gave you a ring without truly understanding what it meant. Today, I want to give you this one, knowing exactly what it represents." "What does it represent?" "True commitment, love tested and proven, a bond that survived everything and grew stronger. And a promise of what? A promise of honesty forever, a promise to face every storm together, a promise to love you the way you deserve to be loved." Jennifer let Michael slide the new ring onto her finger. "Now I have a surprise for you too." "What?" "I also bought a new ring for you." "Really?" Jennifer pulled a similar box from her purse, with the same promise: honesty, partnership, true love. They exchanged the rings in silence under the starry sky. "Now we're officially husband and wife for real," said Michael. "We always were, but now we know what it means." "And what does it mean?" "It means we choose each other every day, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. It means we built something solid on an honest foundation, and it means our love is real, tested, proven by time and hardships." Michael kissed Jennifer under the stars. "I love you, my wife. I love you, my husband. Forever? Forever and then some." And that's how Jennifer understood her story had reached the perfect ending. Not because there were no problems, but because every problem became growth. Not because there was no pain, but because every pain turned into wisdom. Not because there were no mistakes, but because every mistake became a lesson. And most of all, not because there were no challenges, but because every challenge was faced together, with love, honesty, and courage. The bride who had discovered betrayal minutes before her wedding became the woman who proved true love is stronger than any storm. The cousin who had betrayed family trust became the person who learned the value of honesty and family. The groom who had lied for months became the man who understood that real commitment is the greatest freedom there is. And together, they built a family that would set an example for all generations to come. A family where problems are solved through conversation. A family where mistakes are admitted and forgiven. A family where love is a daily choice, not just a feeling. A family where second chances are possible with true remorse and real effort to change. A family that proves the best love stories aren't those without problems, but those where every problem is overcome together. The end. What an incredible story, isn't it? Tell us what you thought of this journey of forgiveness and transformation. Do you think Jennifer made the right choice giving Michael a second chance? And what do you think about the evolution of the cousins' relationship? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit like if the story moved you, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other touching stories like this one.